Okay, we're here. I have two boxes from Asia. It is from Legendary Games Distribution. Kim Fung, Jin Mei. I don't know who Kim Fung or Jin Mei are, but I know Legendary Games, LGD, in Singapore. There's a size 6 box right here. I don't know what's in it. It was just a gift. A thank you for all the help I've done. Call me a uncompensated consultant to assist them with their relocation process. So I really appreciate it. You guys didn't have to. I was just helping just to help. But when we get stuff, we are thankful. Let's see what it could be. I mean, I know they're distributors, so maybe it's more MST. But is it of the correct variety? Oh, it's bent, but oof, Sigil of Solace. Rip.
Oh no.
That, I don't even think you can sell a sigil, but okay, it was bent. It was bent and destroyed by DHL. Rip. But wait, there's more, guys. Japanese Miss Veil.
Nice.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. That's a level up. I literally didn't know what's in it.
Is there a gold pack?
No, there's a couple of Singaporean sigils though.
Nice.
I cannot complain about that, right? These are really good. Sigils are supposedly going up because of the life gain hero? What? I better leave every stone unturned because holy crap.
That's a lot of sigils.
That's a lot of sigils. Yes, it is. We said the same, wow, we were thinking the same thing. We were rip about the first one, but it's okay. We've got spares. Holy crap. That's DS 10 sigils. That's 4 cases of, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just, I didn't expect Japanese. Hold on, I need a moment. Give me a second. Whew. Oh, this is crazy. We still have a bigger box. All right. Welcome to Fabled Hunters.
I'm Yuanji.
I'm Saint.
And today we're gonna talk about some stuff.
Yeah, we are. This is right about the halfway mark of the year. Mm-hmm. And so far, it's been a tumultuous year for both of us, right?
Yeah.
You've taken on a whole new vocation. I've been super duper busy with work and life and moving and whatnot. And I mean, that's just resulted in, I don't know if you agree with me, but it's resulted in probably ho-hum content going into the latter half of the second quarter.
So just to bring you guys a little bit of context. So I think for the majority of our time as filming Fabled Hunters,
yep,
for the most part, we've tried to film about once every 2 to 3 weeks.
Once every 2 to 3 weeks. Yep.
Yeah, and that hasn't really been happening this year.
Starting quarter 2.
Yeah,
right?
Between traveling, stuff that you got going on.
Yep.
Stuff that I got going on in the back.
Absolutely. But I do remember us having conversation late last year and assuring to the Fab Fam, especially the Patreon supporters, the supporters on Patreon that support us day in and day out, that we would give it our very best in 2024. And it's been half the year, and I just feel that, let's be honest, we haven't filmed since Tokyo, right?
Right.
And even in Tokyo, the idea was we would get the best content that we thought was timely for Tokyo, and that would give us our space needed to breathe and move on, right? And then there was even a breakdown of my schedule in nationals, and I didn't make nationals. I felt bad about it. I would have felt super bad if the Runaways took it. If you guys took it and I wasn't there for a title, That'd be horrible.
It was tough.
What happened there? Yeah, what was the experience for the Runaways?
Yeah, I think there's like a couple of things. One of the issues is just like, it's like shortened testing schedule, which it's not like an excuse because everybody else also has to face with the same things. But in general, I just felt like even though we were preparing, I don't think that we prepared as well as we could have. So we've behind the scenes made like a bunch of mentality, like perspective changes.
Okay.
In terms of how we're approaching things. And so hopefully that'll carry on through to Pro Tour and as well as to Worlds.
So you're saying there's a learning, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. It was a learning experience and you guys grew from it, or?
Well, it's more so, I think, I'm sure you've experienced this in business. So let's say like you start off, you have like first mover's advantage, you're doing like good.
Yeah.
And then people catch up.
Yep.
And then you always have to kind of like reinvent yourself in order to, stay ahead of everyone.
Okay.
So I think it was more of that. I think it was a little bit of complacency. I think it was a little bit of doing kind of the same thing that had been working, but we needed to kind of update how we were approaching things.
Now, I'm by no means a competent player, but I did watch from afar 2 days of the play. I mean, starting from, I think, even game one that was televised by Ethan. Shout out to Savage Foods.
Yeah, Ethan is actually like the number one runaway. He's just like killing it in all aspects.
Oh yeah, but his company was also streaming everything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I just mean not like in terms of play, but I think he's kind of killing it
all around.
All around this year.
Yep. He's a man of many feats. He's casted, right? He's streamed and he's played, and he does content creation too. Yeah. So he's just very versatile. But that said, even the stream, it started with former, last year's national champion Charles Dunn, who was also a runaway. Let's go Runaways! But Charles was playing Zen, and then I think was it Dalton got the deepest?
Yeah,
out
Michael
of the
Dalton
Zen. Fourth place.
He got top four.
Top four. And the Zen call seemed to be right. And when I saw Charles play, I was like, whoa, this Zen deck is fire. Everybody was saying Enigma. I don't know how they're going to stand up to a Zen like that. Like a Go Infinite, like bonds, card that calls something bonds and bonds, and like other follow-up hits. I was like, that is insane. That makes me want to play Ninja.
I think at one point in time in our team Discord, someone posted a picture like standing behind Dalton in the players, like the feature match area.
Yeah.
It takes a picture of Dalton's hand in the top eight, and it's just 3 Art of Wars on the table. And I was like, oh, things are happening. That was a sick round too. He had to have won that one, right? Yeah. And
he lost the next one. But the reason why I bring it up is this kind of reflects what you were saying. It feels like you guys had the right call. You guys had a deck that probably would have won, but for, was it Evan Herndon, the eventual winner, he just eked out a little more creativity. Not to knock the Runaways, I love the Runaways, with the Zephyr Needles, right?
Yeah, and I think Dalton might have also been on Zephyr Needles.
Okay.
I forget. But it's like something that we caught on, like I think maybe a little bit too late. I think overall it was more so that it's kind of like our overall approach to things.
Okay.
Not to like leak the trade secrets too much, but like you said, I'm
just as an outsider. I wasn't there in the process or testing out. So I'm just a viewer, a spectator in this case.
Yeah, and I think that even though not everyone on the team was on Zen, like we had identified it as like a really powerful deck, but I think when I was talking about kind of like a perspective shift, I think one of the biggest things for us is changing our mindset from like, we gotta find the best deck for the tournament, which is like puts like a lot of pressure on everyone on the team to take like a more like long-term based approach. It's like, okay, we want to find like a really good deck for the tournament, but we also just want to develop ourselves as flesh and blood players.
Absolutely.
In that period of time. So I think we got like too caught up on the individual event to not do like enough work to just like constantly be improving ourselves.
Okay, that makes sense. What was the total rundown? I mean, I don't want to make this just a Runaways episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Runaways has its own has its own channel. Subscribe, guys, to the Runaways as well.
Yeah.
But what was the total rundown from? Because I'm catching up. We haven't talked since
about
Nationals.
half the team cashed, which is like what we're aiming for
that's
anyways.
pretty damn good.
Yeah, Dalton got top 4. We got a couple of guys who are in contention for a while.
Naib, they said, "Oh, it's a win and in," and then unfortunately the math didn't work out, or the tiebreakers.
Naib also almost made top 8.
Yep.
Charles, I think, got to the finals of the Battle Hardened.
Okay.
And lost. But yeah, I think overall it was a decently successful weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to, even when you're finding what you deem to be successful, I think you also have to find the faults in what you're doing.
Yeah. So moving away from the Runaways news, how's that journey? Because we've hinted personally at your poker journey.
Oh yeah.
How's that journey coming along? As many details as you're willing to spare.
Real talk, it's kind of rough. Poker is one of those games where it's very mentally challenging. Not in the sense, well, it is difficult mentally to play the game. Yep. But I think more so it taxes you emotionally. It taxes your mental stamina.
Absolutely,
to kind of be able to put up with stuff. And it's kind of funny. I felt like I had a couple of early stints of success, but recently the last couple of months been I don't want to say I've been running bad because it's not exactly true. But as I've been studying the game more and more, I've been discovering how bad I actually am, and just constantly working to fix those things. So it's at the beginning, you get lucky, and then you win, you do really well in some tournaments, and then you're finding out later on as you're trying to actually play the game, you're oh well, I actually have a lot more work to do. So it's exciting in that regard, but it's also mentally challenging.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
To kind of stick it through.
At least, I mean, I would say that my first year or two was a little bit like that. I was figuring out how to grind it out on $5 tournaments online. And then once you're crushing $5 tournaments, you're I'm the best, I can do this forever. And then I look at my weekly income, and it's $200 on a decent consistent week, and I'm just okay, $200 a week in poker winnings isn't gonna pay the bills. And then you move up to $15 or $20 tournaments, and then it's whoa, I'm not nearly as good as I thought I was. They're much better players, and they're not in my little pond, because I was a mini guppy in a really small pond. They're not in my pond because it's not worth their time to play, because they're that much better. And then you gotta go through that whole grind again. And poker just seems to, at least during my 4 to 5 year journey as a pro, it just seemed to never stop showing me the value of humility. I always got humbled. And then I'm at the World Series and, playing against, the biggest guys out there. Isildur at my table, and then next to me, I think Durr was just starting that time, or I saw Ferguson,
Yeah, he's been making the media rounds.
Well, recently he's had a bad run, but when he first came out in the teens, the 2000 teens, he was huge. And then now he owes $20-something million and is on the run. But that's not neither here nor there. These are poker current events. No, but I'm saying I get it, and it's, if you really want to incorporate it as a craft, it's a lifelong learning experience. But at the same time, I think that resonates with what you said about Flesh and Blood as well. The players need to continually evolve, and if they get complacent, and if you go in thinking that you're already gonna win, something might come out of left field and overtake you. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but no, I saw Evan's deck, and I'm whoa, he thought of a lot of stuff that maybe other teams didn't, because I think he was operating either as a small play group or as an individual, not national level team, right?
I think he was working. Yeah, he was working with some really good players.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just, I think it's true not only in card games. It's kind of funny. The more that I play card games, the more that I see a lot of the stuff just applies everywhere. It's just overall you're put into this setting where it's like a very competitive setting,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're always like faced with, you know, like nobody has any like pity for you if you like don't win. Like they're all trying to, you know, take the trophy home. So it's, you always got to find ways that you can develop yourself,
Absolutely.
which I think is useful in other aspects of life as well.
No, I completely agree. And developing myself, that is, I'm not trying to find an excuse for phoning it in, because I'll proactively admit that for a lot of Q2, I was phoning in Fabled Hunters content, but a lot of my mental energy was brought to prepare for some national level, even international level speaking engagements. Like I had to go to DC, I prepared 2 to 3 weeks, even had a performance coach like really hone in on my presentation skills on a panel in DC. And you're talking about you need to improve yourself. Like it was a open speaking engagement. It was like everybody volunteered or got, you know, what is it called? Nominated to speak. But on that panel, I distinctly felt that I didn't feel out of my league, but I felt a lot of not happy, warm, fuzzy feelings about people compared to because I was in Washington, D.C., and these were, you know, some of them were lobbyists, some of them were like public-facing people for these large companies, and I'm coming in as an entrepreneur that's, you know, an immigrant, and I just want to, you know, come give my side of the story. And it just felt very contentious, and even at times I felt even the host or the moderator of the event wasn't even on my side. But I was put to the test, and I got up there, and I just gave it my all. And that was, if anything, my surviving that with at least you know, decent showing at least the, you know, people loyal to me and that supported me said it was a decent showing. It was like, hey, you actually presented really well. If anything, I would say that my YouTube experience on Fabled Hunters had helped so much with my just staying calm while on camera and while being filmed and while being, you know, put to the test on some questions. Without 4 years of Fabled Hunters, I would have never been able to do that. And even a month or two later, late April, early May, I had to go to Las Vegas, and this is not the proudest thing, but I was nominated for a huge industry award. And I made top 3 in the country in the industry, and I literally prepared a speech that I didn't think I needed to prepare for, but then 3 weeks before the actual event, everybody was like, you haven't prepared for this yet? Like, have you ever gone up on stage? And then anyways, again, the coaches and everything, and that's, I mean, I ended up not winning, but winning top 3 is a recognition and a distinction in and of itself. But I literally wrote 7 different speeches. I practiced every speech like 30 to 50 times. I edited so much, and it was a month of my life that I felt, I mean, after that crushing feeling of getting beaten, it's like being in the at Worlds and being, I don't know, top 3 and losing, right? Something similar to that.
I can sympathize. It's like when you are approaching the pinnacle, and then you fall short. It hurts more than maybe
if
like
you didn't even
if you just like got knocked out early, like you weren't like that much in the running. You're just like going to you know, have a good time or whatever at the events. Exactly.
If I was just like buying tickets to be at the gala or whatever, rather than winning the whole thing, winning the whole industry, I had prepared so much. Even my last speech, I practiced it about 250 times. I practiced it while on the treadmill. I practiced it in the morning. I practiced it before going to bed. And to not win, that was just soul crushing. So I just didn't want to be on camera or do anything for a little bit. And then there was Japan. And then we've just both been swamped. That said, I think both of us, you know, are taking this time to revisit our promises to the community. And I mean, we're at what, 2 episodes a week right now. I would say that latter part of Q1 and for a lot of Q2, other than us being live at an event, we're sometimes, maybe, I'm not saying you did, but maybe you were running bad or had some, negative feelings from poker, or I had some stuff going on in my life.
Yeah.
And we just, either we didn't meet, or even when we did meet, maybe we're just pushing out episodes to push out episodes, right?
Yeah, I think what you're saying, and just like for the viewers, we're recognizing that we also need to kind of refocus the way that we're approaching Fabled Hunters.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think what we're planning to do in the second half is, I think, try to put a little bit more of our time into kind of crafting the episodes. Like Flesh and Blood is kind of in a weird metamorphosis. A lot of it's an exchanging of the guards, so to speak. A lot of the former content creators.
I was going to mention that too. Exactly.
Yeah, have kind of like the landscape of Flesh and Blood content that's popular started off as just being like opening channels.
Exactly.
And stuff that like kind of similar to what we were doing at the beginning. Then it is now evolving into, I think, like the videos that get the most views now are all gameplay related videos of games being shown, people like talking about decks and stuff.
And there are literal internet celebrities and like literal TV celebrities or celebrities getting involved in Flesh and Blood, which is great. But that puts us in a position where, just like you mentioned about poker, just like I mentioned about, speeches in business, just like you mentioned about the runaways in competitive Flesh and Blood, we need to search, evolve, add intentionality, maybe put in more time, maybe even make less episodes. Maybe instead of twice a week, once in a while we'll have to get one solid episode a week. And just be dynamic with the second half of the year. Right?
Yeah, so I think what we're saying, it's a long-winded way to say, but we're committing to make, I think, higher quality videos moving forward for the next half of the year.
And, this can be this is an open letter to the people that actually sit through and watch us week in, week out for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes. And you guys can tell us what our, best and most impactful videos are. We ourselves will, check through and see what got the most views and maybe replicate some of that content or make it adjacent to what we did before. But let's make this an open discussion. We normally ask for comments and whatnot, but for real, let us know, especially those of you that are at the beginning, because at the beginning of this Flesh and Blood craze in North America, it was enough just to have a whole bunch of really rare boxes, really high-priced boxes, and open the boxes. Nowadays, it's not as much, and people want to see gameplay. People want you to stay on top of the meta. And although I will play here and there, and I went to Missville and played Missville, I went to Heavy Hitters and played Heavy Hitters.
Yeah.
Are we both going to Tampa? You're going to Tampa, right? For the world premiere?
I hope so,
Yeah. So we're probably going to be going to Tampa for Rosetta. That looks like a pretty flyer set, right?
It was funny. I made a joke in one of the Flesh and Blood discords before the information got spoiled. I said that the new set was going to be 4 Briars and 4 Rosettas.
Oh God.
but
and
now,
they called it Rosetta.
Yeah, now they call it Rosetta.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty spot on, man. But it looks to be a really solid set. I don't know, and I don't expect it to top Part the Mistveil. I really, really like Part the Mistveil. I will say that, Alpha will always be Alpha, but Part the Mistveil I can't be objective about this. Like, subjectively, Part the Mistveil is the best set that's ever come out in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
For me, I like Welcome to Wraith Alpha more as a collector and for its scarcity.
Yeah.
But I guess if I can be objective, no set has ever been better than Part the Mistveil. Nothing has ever hit on all cylinders as this set.
Yeah.
Rosetta will be close though, I think.
I think I'll make a prediction as well about Rosetta. I think Part the Mistveil is kind of part 1 of Flesh and Blood 3.0, I'll call it.
Really? Not even heavy hitters anymore?
No. And the way that, like, basically what I mean by that is, so Flesh and Blood 1.0, they came out with the base game, the core mechanics.
Yep.
2.0, what they're really doing is they're trying to kind of push either like the collectability aspect of the Marvels. They're trying to push kind of like the gameplay to like adjust to make I think do a better job of like balancing for like
and streamline multiple SKUs into one product as well, right?
Yeah. They're changing SKUs. I think they're also like I actually talked. We'll do this in a separate video, but I talked to Brian about how they can add SKUs now with stuff like armor decks, first strike, whatever, like different things that are happening. So
they're doing, yeah.
So Flesh and Blood 2.0 is kind of that like exploration phase. Flesh and Blood 3.0, I think, is when they're really starting to take more adventurous directions with the actual game mechanics.
Okay.
So a lot of Flesh and Blood 2.0 is still porting over to like the base game of Flesh and Blood 1.0, which is like attacking, blocking, the numbers on the cards, etc. And the Flesh and Blood 3.0 is really about just like a lot of like synergy, like cool, unique mechanics, things that like really push the limits of what you can do in Flesh and Blood in different ways. And I think Rosetta is kind of like similar. I think I saw some cards that like interact with the graveyard, and then like banishing cards from the graveyard. It's like a whole new like resource system and stuff like that. And I think we're starting to see like Flesh and Blood.
It's creating really, like Fab Dredge, something like
that. Yeah. And I think that Flesh and Blood is really entering a new era of making the game, I guess like dynamic is the word that I would
multi-dimensional, add more layers of depth and complexity, which Mistveil definitely did, but heavy hitters did not. Yeah,
and so I think in this sense, I'm really excited to have you guys join us on this Flesh and Blood journey as we kind of navigate to see like how that impacts the game going forward.
That's for sure, and I'm looking forward to what cool Marvels they're going to come out with. And I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do the gold pack thing again.
Yeah.
I personally like it. I like the fact that there's only 100 of the Enigma New Moon Marvel.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to get one. Yuanji forgot it, but he'll get it to me next time. We'll showcase it on FH.
Just blowing my spot like that. Throwing me under the bus.
No, I'm just saying I like it, man.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they're going to do that for Rosetta, but if they make it a hero-focused Marvel to lead type of collector product, and they add some very key elements, very key Marvels that are playable, and that's already a step above much of what happened in 2.0. I will still say that much of 2.0 was, to me, Uprising and maybe Dynasty as a secondary, a far second.
Yeah, I feel
made
like
Fab 2.0 for me.
They're like exploring what they can do like productization wise.
Yeah. But 3.0 for me as a collector is heavy hitters because they did it right. They're like heroes and then some stuff.
Yeah.
Heroes and what else?
Yeah.
And that arc definitely shifted in heavy hitters and then followed with Mistveil. So hopefully we'll get the 4 heroes, young and old. I don't know if there's going to be old, but young and adult in Marvel, plus maybe some specializations which they did in Mistveil, which I think was a win.
Yeah.
Maybe some very key playable Majestics.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's some new special system like what they did with the Chi cards.
Yeah, the Marvel Chi. Where it was a big hit.
And then even a Marvel Fabled. It's not as playable, but it's definitely beautiful and collectible.
Yeah.
So if they do that again, who knows? The set's already made and everybody's tight-lipped about it, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. We're excited to be, here showing our perspectives and our experiences on this Flesh and Blood journey for the remainder of 2024. So hope this made sense to you guys. Hope this can be an interactive discussion. Hope you guys can still support us on Patreon, where your contributions go to this guy. This guy will continue to help promote Flesh and Blood North America, which was one of his core principles or your core motivations for doing Fabled Hunters and being involved in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
And I will continue collecting and just sharing my passion in accumulating a bunch of shiny and awesome and scarce cardboard. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, twiddle that notification button, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, we're back. We have our 4 Japanese Mistveil boxes. We've got another big box. We've got a bigger box. Well, whatever was in box number 1 was already super awesome. What is in box?
Saints moved from the Singaporean Uncle Squat to sitting down.
Okay, we have a box with stuff in it.
This is a size 7.
It's a size 7. It's bigger than size 6. What? Okay. More JP.
So it's like 10 in total, it looks like.
I think so. Wow. You know what? As the first... Ooh, this one's definitely getting open. Is this 10 JP cases?
Are there any gold packs in here?
There's no gold packs in here. There's no magical one of one.
I think probably they were doing it as like buy a case, so like every case just like they give you one.
Buy a case promo, something like that.
Something like that.
Or
Just like gift
show,
the case.
show some love. There we
Yeah.
go. Appreciate it. Thank you, LGD, Asia Pacific partner of LSS. Much apprecited. Was glad to hang out in Tokyo. Glad to hang out in Tokyo and Osaka soon in November. See you guys at Worlds.